That's the mall shooting. I just put this on the other video, and I'm going to try to get this on this video, and then that's it. Um, Marcus is the name. It's a mall shooting. It's a mind control shooting, just like the rest of them. The Giffords, as in Gabby Gifford, U.S. Congress lady, and I ran for Congress and didn't get it back in '83. I was flown to Flint. Who was shot? It was mind control. The guy programmed and him programmed to shoot Flint and kill his attorney in Lawrenceville. So Mr. Flint flew me out there during the campaign, and later I started finding out about my kidnapping and who my parents are and all of that. But I want to see, I put this on prior tapes and videos. I wanted to say that Gabby Gifford and her husband is Mark, and they're twins, Mark and Scott. They're both astronauts. And Mark and Scott are my son's names. So it's like a database. You have to have the timeline and go back and pick up. You can't just lay it down like I'm doing and make somebody understand, but you can get the gist. And it's mind control, which has nothing to do with mental illness. And that is what is so gross to me. Mental illness is getting a bad rap. And while mind control is uncurtailed, that's what you should be, everybody should be focusing on, because you're not immune either. None of you are. Now then, I wanted to mention this one, though. I just mentioned the one that happened in Maryland. His name is Marcus, and there's obviously more to patterns than that. But the Fort Hood shooter was a psychiatrist that was actually born here in Benton, Roanoke, where I'm at, and he finished college at Virginia Tech, which is about 45 miles from here, in Blacksburg. And that's where the 33 shootings happened. The young man from Seoul, South Korea, the student, April the 16th of '07. And they I forgot what the state of Virginia, I'm in the state of Virginia, so you can imagine what I feel like telling all this. And they all know it. Oh, they do. And the media, and they're not going to tell it. They've known it for a long, long time. So if you think your media is not controlled, you are so wrong if you're waiting to hear the truth from their lips. So that tells you what's going on here. But the thing, and you laugh to keep from screaming at it. It's so ludicrous all the mess is. But the people let it happen, and that's what I want to reiterate, because nobody wanted to hear this. And I was sitting talking with a lady who evidently had been told who I am and everything, and I started to say, she says, but I do believe you. And I know that everybody did. They're afraid of it, okay? They're afraid of repercussions. And you're talking about a weapon that's being used mass and has been, that you can't see. It's not visible. The only way you could prove it is by the patterns that's been deliberately done, and nobody, it could have been stopped a long time ago, along with the pain and suffering done to me and my country, and my family. But I wanted to go back to the Fort Hood shooter. He was from Roanoke, Benton. He was a psychiatrist. He finished school at Blacksburg, went on to get his medical somewhere else to become a psychiatrist, but he finished there at Virginia Tech, where the 33 shootings happened in April of '07. Now then, the new town, the Sandy Hook, the Aurora, Colorado, with James Holm, who's being treated for mental illness, and it has nothing to do with the other than that's the way it was planned. You program people and modify their behavior, and then you have them go out and shoot someone, and they're mentally ill. And the doctors who are treating these people who are victims of mind control are not only guilty of gross medical malpractice. This is bordering on the sickest thing anybody can think of. It really is. Uh, so now I think you'd have to go back to the prior tape to get the gist of it. Um, but that's up to you. I showed the Kennedys; they were the ones that helped kidnap me, and I showed my father and his lovely brother, who illegal George VI. The movie made him out to be a hero. It was a total lie. So anyway, I've told you about Mark and Scott, the astronauts, and uh, um, Gabby Gifford, and Mark and the Marcus. That's what I call Mark, my sons, and the Westgate in Kenya. And by the way, nobody took note that the Brits weren't there. They used to be British, you know. Kenya was a British colony, and instead, you know who went in there? The Israeli army, who's taken everything over with the United States, went in there. Westgate. Westgate is the last home I had in Marietta, Georgia. A nice one, but you can't call things nice when all hell is breaking loose, and it's always been that way. I just didn't know why. At first, I thought part of it was the book, and then I found out it was about my kidnapping. I want to add this one, and I hope that I have. I mentioned Justin uh, Bieber, and I mentioned Britney Spears and Lohan, and maybe he doesn't like me to tell this unless the whole thing is spread out. But Charlie Sheen, I mean, his behavior was modified, and it's his real name that links it all. His real name. Now then, this was a murder that happened when I was had a hustler car up in Grottoes, no money. It was sitting there, and I was pumping gas and working at Ronica's convenience store. It was a small store in Grottoes. These murders happened, and they're mind control. And I had briefly met um, Chad and Yins, and I'll be honest, I don't. I was supposed to meet them both because I was sent out on a Hawkins temporary to Lovett or Lovell private school in Marietta, and I think it was Chad I met that I didn't get to see Yins. It was later when I'm in Grottoes and the hustler car is parked out there and I'm pumping gas for a living, that these murders happened. Now, Yins ended up with Elizabeth Haysom going to the University of Virginia. They're very talented and nice people. What changed their behavior? You're getting into mind control and modifying behavior. And this is a picture of him, and they all know it around here. They knew it in Bedford when they found him guilty and tried them. By the way, they used something, the Joan of Arc look, to describe her. You should read about Jean Seberg, who played in the Arc of Joan. She was killed November of 79, and she was harassed. She was lied about. CONTELPRO, which is a coming together of your law enforcement. Well, I'll let you read the rest of it. I'm telling a lot, and I've taken so much it scares the heck out of me. I wonder how much longer I'll even be able to live. But this is Yins, and his attorney knew it. By the way, Rick Neaton wished Yins well. He should win, even if they have to call me a crappy lawyer to do so. You know what happened to him? He was disbarred. The Internal Revenue went after him. He was disbarred, and he was in Florida trying to find a job. So people who know the truth are afraid of it, and the rest of them don't want to hear it. Now, that was he was a German diplomat's son, and she's actually Elizabeth, the daughter, who was a friend of his. It's her parents that were killed with a butcher knife, not a gun. And I believe she has Canadian citizenship, and her father was British. Her mother was Nancy Haysom, and it's Nancy and Derek, her parents, that were killed. Her mother's an American. Now then, I wanted to go to this about Edward Snowden. And again, I don't want to take anything away